So I'm kind of angry, but it's okay. It's okay. We're not going to talk about that right now. We're not going to talk about how crazy it has been at this moment, in this juncture. You know, when you think of NBA trades, you really got to think about it. You really got to think, have there been some crazy trades recently that have, just shocked the foundation? I think so. There, there was no, there was just no any kind of incentive. No, I don't know how to describe this right here. I think this is probably one of the worst trades in NBA history. How did we get to this? How did we get to this? And it's a 3-team trade too, so it's not just the LA Lakers getting this. It's the Utah Jazz are somehow involved in this. Like, I don't even understand at this point. So Luka Doncic has been traded from Dallas to the LA Lakers. Markieff Morris and Maxi Kleber are also gone. And in exchange, well, we get the Dallas Mavericks get a first round pick in 2029. As if 2029 is going to matter right now. It is 2025. 4 years is a long time in the NBA. We get Max Christie, and we get the unibrow, Anthony Davis. He's about to turn 32. Now, one thing people are going to say, well, AD is always injured. Luka's been battling injuries. And to be quite honest with you, you're right on both counts. Luka, over the past year and a half, has been battling some injuries that have really been holding him down. I mean, let's just be real. It is what it is with the injury. Anthony Davis, the issue with Anthony Davis isn't his health as so much that he's just not a physical guy like that. He's 7 foot tall and you're not physical. You want to be a power forward instead of the center that you basically been, and look at how your stats have been this year, sir. Double. What are we talking about here? You don't want to be a center. What do you mean you don't want to be a center? You want Daniel Gafford to be the center for you? I guess so. And it just doesn't make any sense. And guess what the Utah Jazz get? They get 2 picks. They get 2 picks. They get 2 second-round picks and Jalen Hood-Schifino. Wow. Wow, Utah, you're already not very good. But yeah, man. And this was right after the Knicks had beaten, had beaten yet again for their own incompetence. Lakers beat the Knicks with LeBron averaging a triple-double. I mean, LeBron, was 40 years old, having triple-doubles, once a night, at least once a week now. I mean, it's crazy. Again, AD did play. Other guys, for the Lakers have just been performing much better. Doesn't make any sense. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. This trade, again, is the epitome of how did this happen? Why did this happen? This came out of nowhere, and yet here we are. It's official. It's official, man. And with the Cavs, being the best team in the league, same with the Oklahoma City Thunder, SGA, and the Thunder, top in the West. Evan Mobley and the Cavs, tops in the East. I mean, the Celtics are also right there with a strong unit. And again, some of this stuff has just been regurgitated over and over again, since October, that the Celtics have a strong unit. This is what it is. That's why they're a top 5 team to, go back and win the title anyway. Jalen Brunson and the Knicks, yes, they had a setback last night, but, that was last night. It's a new night now. The Pacers, they played the Spurs in Paris. They played the Spurs in Paris, France, and Wembanyama decided to go off and go crazy. But, the Spurs are still under 500 right now anyway. So, the Pistons? I'm just as shocked as you are. The Pistons with Jalen Duren, Caden Cunningham? My God, bro. You're joking with me right now. You're joking with me. The Pistons are top 8 in the NBA, at least in the Eastern Conference anyway. 76ers, they'll get there, maybe. Maybe. We'll see. We all know Embiid ain't playing. The Grizzlies, I'm just as shocked as you are that they're top 3 in the West. Same thing with the Rockets. The Nuggets are right there. Jokic is still right there in the thick of things. The Clippers, Harden, and crew have surged up. The Ant-Man and the Timberwolves also a really good squad. There are some really, really good squads out in the NBA right now. The narrative again, the narrative that we talked about a month ago with, the NBA's ratings are declining because 3 balls and it's unwatchable and stuff like that. Not necessarily. It's part of the problem, but it's not necessarily the case. We are about 30 games away from the NBA playoffs. Give or take 30 games or so, we are there. The All-Star break is in 2 weeks. Or rather, it starts next week, or the week after, kind of in that weird spot, where it's like not even really a week break, if you know what I mean. And again, I don't care for the All-Star game, but we'll talk about where things are as far as the All-Star game is in a couple weeks, So 2 Sundays from now, we'll talk again, about good old NBA and where we stand. But I think right now with some of the stuff that has happened, in a midst of all of this is just something to keep an eye on. Today was a great day to watch some women's college basketball. It was a great day to watch women's college basketball because Paige Beckers is still, lighting it up, UConn is probably going to take the Big East. Let's just be real. The Huskies are going to take the Big East title and be a top seed in the NCAA tournament. Let's just be completely real about that. Maryland, slipped up, against Texas on MLK Day and has free fallen since then. They even lost today to Illinois, of all teams. South Carolina, Notre Dame with Hannah Hidalgo, USC, although they lost today, with Kiki Iriefin and Juju Watkins. Lauren Betts at UCLA, the only unbeaten in all of Division I. My God, we are going to have a top 4. These are going to be the favorites. USC, UConn, Notre Dame. Well, not what I meant to say. USC, UCLA, South Carolina, and Notre Dame are basically the top 4 in the country, bar none. They are the top 4 teams in the country, bar none. But there's teams that are lurking, let me tell you. There are teams that are lurking. My Texas Longhorns, they are absolutely lurking. Lurking. With Booker, just an absolute dynamite. Oh. You want to talk about another team that's lurking? Another team in the SEC that's lurking? Those LSU Tigers. They are lurking. The Bayou Bengals. They are lurking. Also, definitely a team that could be a top seed, to be quite honest with you. Like, if you said LSU and Texas, but things are going to come to a head over the next couple weeks anyway. So, in betwixt all of this, we have Texas, South Carolina. We have Texas, LSU. We have UConn, South Carolina. We have UConn, Tennessee. It's going to come to a head, people. The Big 12, just because Iowa State kind of fell to the wayside doesn't mean there ain't nothing good at the Big 12. Now, the Big 12 has a problem of, most of the women's games being hidden on ESPN Plus. But hey, you have K-State, TCU, teams like them that are dynamite squads, man, those types of teams can cause some damage. And again, there's other SEC teams as well. Again, the SEC, like I said a month ago, has just had some dominant performances. Miss Moore and those Kentucky Wildcats. Moore put up 43 today against Oklahoma, Reagan Beers. I mean, and again, Oklahoma ain't no slouch either. They can play. There are other teams in the ACC as well. Cal, NC State, Florida State, Georgia Tech. Don't sleep on other teams in the Big Ten. Now, again, the race is coming down to USC and UCLA, but there's another team that you need to watch out for, and it's those Ohio State Buckeyes. Now, them gals can play out there in Columbus, bro. So we got some goodies. We got some goodies tomorrow night. Again, Duke NC State is tomorrow night in the women's game, and it's going to be good. Again, TCU K-State, the collision happens on ESPN Plus on a Wednesday. I am mad about that, but it's okay. We have Ohio State UCLA and then Ohio State USC in prime time on Big Fox next Saturday. So I'm good. I'm good. Again, UConn Tennessee is also this week. So we have some stacked women's matches. We have some stacked matchups, let me tell you. The WNBA, they've released their schedule and everything like that. We got our 13 teams playing and everything. We got, Caitlin Clark getting her jersey retired. Asia Wilson getting her jersey retired. We got the free agency coming on crazy. Tina Charles is now back on the Sun. DeWanna Bonner is now a player on the Fever. Grace Berger, unfortunately, got waived, though. So, yeah, lots of stunning, things are in play. You want to talk about WNBA expansion? We got some crazy, crazy bids, man. Tennessee and out Nashville. Peyton, Candace Parker. The whole crew said, we want a team in Tennessee. Detroit said, hey, we want a team. Philadelphia has been known to say, we want a team. The business is booming. And, now, again, Unrivaled was supposed to be a thing I was going to watch, but I ended up saying, nah, 3-on-3 is still not for me. So, just like the Big Three, screw all that because, I'm not watching that. So, now we got a trade that just kind of went crazy, a 4-team trade that was just bonkers, just a bonkers trade that, is all over the place. It's all over the place with this trade. And I got to tell you, I want to say that this is one of the wildest things I think I've seen in quite some time, let me tell you. One of the wildest things I think I've seen. The stuff that happened here, just doesn't make any sense. I mean, really. Indiana also gets, Sophia Cunningham, in another trade that happened. Let me tell you, I don't know, man. You have Courtney Vandersloot going back to Chicago. It just doesn't make any sense. These trades do not make any sense. These trades do not make any sense, and they're going to continue to not make any sense until they do. They're just not going to make any sense. Ignore that. That was something else. Like Jewel Lloyd now on the Aces. Kelsey Plum on the Sparks. Alyssa Thomas, Sato Sabali. They're in Phoenix. Brittany Griner, Brianna Jones, they're in Atlanta. Like, what do you mean? What is this? What is this stuff right here, man? What is this? This again, I need to really break down this trade here. So again, this 14 trade, Connecticut got J.C. Sheldon, Rebecca Allen, Natasha Cloud, and Connecticut. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good get in Cloud right there. She can ball. And the draft pick, Indiana, Sophie Cunningham, Jalen Brown, and also the number 19 pick. Again, Phoenix, Sefki Unzen, Alyssa Thomas. Yes, the old guard, Alyssa Thomas, Sato Sabali, Kalani Brown. Really good stuff. And then Dallas got Dejanay Carrington, one of the most improved players. In fact, the most improved player from last year. Tiasha Harris, Alyssa Smith, Herbert Harrigan, that's reserved rights, by the way. And a bunch of draft picks, man. I mean, the Sun, I think the championship window I think that window is closed. I think that window may be closed. I don't know if this lineup here is gonna, wow me in 2025. I don't know if it's gonna wow me, but we will see because once TV schedules and stuff like that come out, it's gonna be a doozy. It's gonna be a real doozy. I don't think we expected what we expected, you know. And then, college basketball. Of course, the men's side has been dominated by Cooper Flagg and Janai Broom. And let me tell you, you are absolutely right. That is exactly what has been happening, bro. That is exactly what has been happening. My goodness. John Calipari returned to Rupp Arena and upset the Kentucky Wildcats last night with the Arkansas Razorbacks. Now, Arkansas is a team that is completely mid, but, we're going to reserve, me talking smack about the Hogs for another day. But they won last night. They have something a little bit on their resume, I think, in my opinion, right now. UConn, let me tell you, we have solo ball piecing you up. Something's wrong here. Marquette, I don't know what happened last night. And I mean, UConn has been surging with Caravan, surging and surging and surging right back into a position that they need to be in. And that could spell trouble come Selection Sunday. That could spell trouble. This could be like a top 4 seed. You also the men's bracket preview in a couple weeks too. So keep your eyes on that one. Again, the SEC is just crazy. Like I said, it ain't just Janai Broom who was injured, came back, and now he's been dominating. And the Tigers have won 13 in a row. Again, there's those Kentucky Wildcats, a really good Kentucky squad. There's Tennessee, a physical team. Florida, same thing. Now, Tennessee and Florida just beat the brakes off of each other over the past month, by the way. So, both games were 20-point routes, but they split the season series. So, Tennessee, really physical defense. I know I've had my fair share of talks, about Sky Ziegler in the past. But, I mean, again, Tennessee is a physical team that knows what they're doing. Florida, same thing with Walter Clayton. Physical team that knows what they're doing. Big 12, Caleb Love is a dynamite star for the Arizona Wildcats when he plays up to his potential. Let's just be real. Iowa State, they were number 3. They're not going to be number 3 after this week. They are definitely not going to be number 3 in the nation after this week. Houston had to fight against Texas Tech and lost in OT. And then, man, that Texas Tech Houston game came down to some nonsense. I'm telling you, free throws were everything in that game. Everything. And yet Kelvin Sampson's crew could not get the job done at the end. But, hey, Houston is still in the thick of things. Kansas, I don't even know what Kansas is at this point. They're a team, where the home environment can really, get in there and do their thing. But at the same time, there's also a team that just doesn't have an established guy. And I don't know why. I don't know why they don't have an established guy. Big Ten? Man, what do you want me to say about the Big Ten that hasn't already been said? Oregon is slipping Illinois, with Brad Underwood, is getting back a little bit. Purdue is still pretty good. They had some losses early in the non-conference slate, but they picked it up. Michigan State was unbeaten in conference play until they lost today to USC, out of all teams. Don't quote me on that. I don't know why. Michigan State and Izzo is just, they are definitely look like a team that can make some noise. I think this is like a top 3 seed still. I still think it's top 3 seed. Ignore, any background noise that has happened. And in fact, that Oregon-Nebraska game is going on right now. Nebraska is winning that game with about 6.5 minutes left. So by the time this is uploaded, that game will go final. Memphis, if Memphis doesn't win the AAC, I don't know what to tell you at this point. I don't know what to tell you if they don't win the AAC. The rest of the ACC, Louisville's good. Clemson is a team that we all need to be watching out for. They should be ranked, and we should have a ranked Duke-Clemson matchup this upcoming weekend. Clemson has been disrespected by the national media, and I think Clemson is one of those teams that can do some damage. Louisville, was ranked. Oh yeah, for the rest of the Big Ten, you have Wisconsin in there too. Pretty good team there. St. John's. Don't sleep on Kadary Richmond now. Don't sleep on that boy. That brother can hoop. You know what I'm saying? So St. John's is going to have some critical matchups over the next couple of weeks, and the Big East is going to come down to them, Marquette, maybe Creighton, and UConn, of course. I say maybe Creighton, but, Creighton just got smacked around by UConn, so I don't know about all that. But Marquette and Creighton do meet. I believe it's this Saturday that they meet. So, yeah. Again, the rest of the SEC is a gauntlet. Don't sleep on the Mississippis. Don't sleep on Shamar Mark, Trey Johnson, and those Texas Longhorns. Again, it's gonna be common. It's gonna be physical. It's gonna be physical. Come down to when it comes to what the bracket preview is gonna look like. Again, I don't really have the greatest projections right now, because my projections are always bad. So, but I can tell you at least Auburn and Duke are the top, along with Alabama. Those 3 right there, that is a top 3 that is just unserious. Again, and how serious they are, they are just bull rushing. And again, there might be 3 SEC teams that are going to be 1 seeds. I truly think that. I truly think that there might be 3 SEC teams because of the weight of the SEC has really gone into it. So that is like my first big projection about this bracket that's going to come out in less than 6 weeks, is that we are going to have 3 SEC teams as 1 seeds. That is my first big prediction about the men's side of the bracket. Women's side is a little bit more straightforward, I think, in that regard. So forgive me if there were any, sorts of background noises or anything like that kind of impacted this video a little bit, but we are going to move forward and trudge forward anyway. This week on this channel, well, we're hoping for an interview. We're hoping to get one in, and I'm hoping to highlight guys that aren't exactly, on the field in pads. We're talking about the guys that do the video stuff. We're talking about photographers. So, hit up a couple. We're going to see if they, answer and see if we could get something going this week. But if not, I'll see you on Super Bowl Sunday to talk whatever happens in the Chiefs-Eagles game, because again, I did not expect the Eagles to get here like that. But you know what? Fine. America's gonna have to suffer, but America's already suffering. You see, they had a grave at the AAC because Luka's not in Dallas anymore. I'm sad. That's really it, man. I'm pissed off. I'm in pain. I don't want to be here. I'm about to crash out, man. I'm about to crash out. This video has been 20-something minutes. I didn't expect that either. I'm going to crash out. I'm going to get off here. And we'll see if we can get this interview going. If not, I'll see you on Super Bowl Sunday, like I already said.